Alright, for the homework help for 4.4, we want to be able to start with this ready question. So it says write an equation from a context, interpret notation for inequalities. So we want to write an equation that describes the story, then answer the question asked by the story. So Virginia's painting service charges $10 per job and $20 per square foot. If Virginia earned $50 for painting one job, how many square feet did she paint? Okay, so if we set this up, we had a question like this on a learning check not that long ago. We know that Virginia is making $10 every time she shows up, plus $0.2 for every square foot that she paints, and she made $50 total. Okay, so here's our equation. So that's the first part of this question, right? And hopefully we can see where these things are coming from. Whenever we say the word per, that should help us figure out what's going on. So $10 per job, meaning each time she just shows up to a job, and 20 cents per square foot. So that's going to be affected by the size of the job that she's doing. So now if we go to solve this equation, I'm going to start by subtracting 10. So I have 0.2x is equal to 40. And then by dividing by 0.2, which is going to give me a big number. Let's see, 0.2, 40 divided by 0.2, I believe is going to be about 200. Let me get a calculator here real quick. Yep, 200. So 200 square feet is what she ended up painting. Okay, importantly though, we want to make sure we can write the equation and then solve the equation. Okay, let's look at our next section, the set here. So in this set it says solve inequalities, verify that given numbers are elements of the solution set. So we want to solve for x, show your work, and indicate if the given value of x is an element of the solution set. Okay, so to solve for x, in most of these cases, they will almost surely follow the same steps that we followed for equations. So if we add 9 here, I want to get x alone, right? So that's going to give me 2x is less than 12. And then I want to divide by 2, so x is less than 6. Okay, so there's my solution. Now the question is this value, x equals 6, part of the solution set, yes or no? Well, our solution set is x is less than 6, not less than or equal to 6. So my answer here is no, it is not part of the solution set, because it makes our inequality untrue. Okay, so now if we look at number 9, same ideas. Start by subtracting 25, so I get 4x is greater than negative 12. And then by dividing by 4, so I get x is greater than negative 3. Okay, there's my solution. It wants to know, is the value x equals negative 5 part of the solution set? So if negative 5 is greater than negative 3, then yes it is, but it is not. It's less than. It's further to the left on the number line if we were to draw a number line. Right, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. In this case, I want all the values that go this direction. Negative 5 isn't in that case, so this is not part of the solution set. Okay, still in the set section here, we want to do some graphing of inequalities, so we want to solve first and then graph. Okay, so on number 12 here, I'm going to start by subtracting 9. So I get x is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay, nothing left to do there. So I'm going to go to negative 2 on my number line, which is right here. I'm going to put a closed circle. The reason I'm putting a closed circle is because we have an equal to over here. We have an equal to, less than or equal to, not just a less than. And then I want to shade in all the area that is less than negative 2. So that's everything to the left, this direction. Okay, so let's look at number 13. Same process. If we add 4, we get negative 3x is greater than 6. And then I need to divide by negative 3. Now this is something that we should remember that we've talked about here. When we divide or multiply by a negative, that's going to end up flipping our inequality. So I get x is less than negative 2. Okay. So our inequality sign changed directions. Now because this one's a less than and not an equal to, I'm going to put an open circle at -2. And I'm still going to shade to the left because this inequality flipped and made it less than. Okay, if it had stayed greater than, I would have shaded to the right. Okay, so a couple more things from our set here. And actually, I'm only going to do one of these problems, and let's do 19 together. Okay, so if we're doing 19, really in general, all of these things, we're just going to treat them like equations, right? Which we've been working with for quite a while. Okay, but if for some reason the only time we would anything changes is if we have a negative that we are multiplying by or dividing by. Okay, so I have this kind of interesting situation where I've got all this stuff going on here with this fraction on number 19. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 3, and that's going to get rid of this fraction on the right. So on the left, I get 9x minus 4 over 12 is less than or equal to 2x. And I still want to get rid of my fraction, so I'm going to multiply by 12 to get rid of that fraction. So that'll go away and leave me with 9x minus 4 less than or equal to 24x. Okay, now I have something that's a little bit easier to deal with. In fact, it's probably similar to what these other two are like. So what I'm going to do is distribute the 9. So I get 9x minus 36 is less than or equal to 24x. Okay, I want to get all of the x's to one side, so I'm going to subtract 24x. Okay, and this will give me negative 15x minus 36 is less than or equal to 0. And I still want to solve for x here, so I'm going to add 36 to both sides. So now I have negative 15x less than or equal to 36. And last step in a lot of steps is I'm going to divide by negative 15. So remember, just like we did on the problem before, when we divide in an inequality by a negative, we have to flip the sign. So this ends up giving us x is greater than or equal to, negative 12/5, okay, or negative 2.4. One of those two would work fine for us. Okay, and there's our equation, okay? This is our answer for our inequality. Now I wanted to do that one because there was a lot going on, including flipping in a negative, flipping your inequality because of a negative rather, okay, and also you get that kind of cross multiplication that we were doing. So there's a lot of steps there, okay, but should be helpful to you. Okay, last questions that I want to go over here are these two, these systems of equations. Now this should kind of probably be a little bit new to us. We're going to talk a lot more about systems of equations in the coming module. Okay, but to start this, we'll just get a little preview of what this looks like. Okay, where our instructions here are to solve each system of equations by using substitution. So an example there, we have that example where we take y equals 12 and 2x minus y equals 14. Okay, the first step with this is understanding what's going on. Okay, a system of equations is two or more equations. Okay, so we just have two or more of them, and we're trying to solve these. So because we have y equals something, we can substitute it into the second equation. Right? So what they've done here is they take y equals 12, and they put it in place of y. So they put the 12 in place of y. So we get this equation over here, and let's bold it out. 2x minus 12 equals 14. And then we just solve for x. So we add 12, divide by 2, and we end up getting x is equal to 13. Okay. Now, that's not the end of it. At that point, you would go back. Oh, we already know what y is, so that is the end of it. Sorry. And we'll write our answer as an ordered pair. It would be the ordered pair 13, 12, because ordered pairs are always x, y. Okay. So if I look at 21, same idea. I have y equals 5, so I'm going to take 5 and put it in place of y right here. So that gives me negative x plus 5 is equal to 1. And now I want to solve for x, so I'm going to subtract 5. So So I get negative x is equal to negative 4. Then I see that I have a negative x, so I need to divide everything by negative 1. So I'm going to get x is equal to positive 4. So my answer here is an ordered pair, 4, comma 5, because this is x and y. Okay, so let's see how that would look on number 22. Let's do one more together here. In this case, we are being told that x is equal to 8. So I'm going to replace x in my equation with 8. Okay, so what I get here is 5 times 8 plus 2y equals 0. So 5 times 8 is 40 plus 2y equals 0. I want to try to get y alone, so I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides. So 2y is equal to negative 40. And then I'm going to divide by 2. So I get y is equal to negative 20. Now I'm still going to write my solution as an ordered pair. So I had x equals 8 and y equals negative 20 as my solution. Okay, hopefully that little preview helps us as we get going with systems here as well. Okay.